Happy Robbie Ray Day, Brandon.
It feels like a good day.
It's a great day.
It's
Robbie Ray's
Ray
on the
Day.
mound. Him and his youth extra small pants are on the mound. They start in 20 minutes.
His really hip haircut on the mound.
Stylish Robbie Ray, gorgeous man, noted
Feeling
gorgeous man
good.
Robbie Ray on the mound. Playoffs are starting this weekend. Like NHL playoffs, starting this weekend. The Tampa Bay Raptors are one step closer to getting out of Tampa Bay.
They are officially out of all playoff races, which is all we're going to mention about them probably because they're,
news, all good news. All good news. We got lots of interesting news in here, but that's all good news. Freddie, Hyman, Foligno, and Riley Nash all took full part in practice today. Freddie's going to start tomorrow. So we're full of good news today. It's an interesting one. I mean, we could start with the Leaf stuff just because it's there, it's quick. There's not much to talk about the Leafs today. But as I mentioned, everyone's back for the most part. They have to keep Sandin off the lineup because of cap issues and all that. But Freddie's going to start tomorrow. Hyman should be back. Foligno should be back. Riley Nash should make his Leaf debut. So you're going to get a different look at the Leafs than we've seen the last couple of weeks. I like it. It should be fun. They're going to lose because it's Ottawa, and that's just what happens. But it's going to be a fun game at least.
It's good to see everybody kind of getting back for the playoffs. I didn't really expect Freddie to actually make an appearance before any games mattered. Yeah, and here he is, which could be good or bad. You hope nothing happens.
Hopefully it's great.
Yeah.
But judging just by how we've played Ottawa in the past, I'm just going to assume it's going to suck. Just because
Ottawa's just a competitive. I mean, they really got rolled over by Calgary last night. They were not competitive in that game.
But they just somehow find ways to show up, and it's just annoying.
Yeah, especially against Toronto, I guess. But no, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Nick Foligno to be back in, getting some more ice time before he actually see playoff.
I'm glad he can get back in before the playoffs, so he can just work out any remaining kinks he has after being injured, come back in, get everything figured out, and be ready to go for game one.
Riley Nash's first game, if I'm not mistaken.
Riley Nash's first game. I am very interested to hear from the people that are just deciding that Riley Nash is like the savior of defense in the NHL. I really like Riley Nash, and I know he can play really good defense, but we're acting like this guy's going to come out here and be Patrice Bergeron. He does nothing offensively. I don't know why all of a sudden he's just a lock to make this roster on the third line. I think they're giving him a shot here, and I think he maybe gets a shot at the first game, but this isn't a guy that's he's a game changer in the lineup.
I kind of wish the game was on right now so that he could give you a Danny Jansen moment. Sure. And, just steal the puck away 5 times while we're talking about how bad he is. Yeah.
Analytically, he is one of the best defensive centermen in the game.
Isn't that crazy?
But he's also one of the worst offensive. He's got not good.
But this team has shown they don't need help offensively, especially.
No, but when you're putting him on a line with Ilya Mikheyev, I don't like it. I tweeted out earlier, I don't think you can have both of them on the roster at the same time because essentially they do the same thing. And I trust Riley Nash a little bit more with the puck than I do Mikheyev. But obviously Mikheyev's got the speed.
Round 1, round 2, especially you're kind of guaranteed to be the best team no matter what you throw out there.
Yeah, as the one.
So I feel like having them, especially on those lower lines, and just see if you can actually maybe build a little bit of chemistry with it and you probably won't.
I get it, but as of right now, it's at the sacrifice of Alex Galchenyuk, and I hate it. Why is Alex Galchenyuk the guy that's coming out of the roster for another guy that can't do anything with the puck, but is really good at keeping the puck? Our issue hasn't been reducing shots from our forwards right now. It's just they can't really get the offense going at times, and Riley Nash coming into on the team here isn't changing that. And you're just taking out an offensive piece to do it. I would rather see Hyman drop onto that third pairing and create some offense out of that third line, and then just keep Galtz where he is and bring Foligno back to that first line. It just makes more sense to me. I don't know why you're adding – if you're going to add Riley Nash, that's fine. I understand he's a really good defensive center. Then take out Ilya Mikheyev because that guy does nothing offensively. You're just adding another Ilya Mikheyev, and that's not really what they need right now. They need to keep that offense producing and doing something in the depth of the team as opposed to only relying on Matthews, Marner, and Tavares. Sometimes Willie.
I feel like they're just trying to, protect Galchenyuk as well as keep the ball rolling for the most important forwards of this team. And, it's going to be a really weird gap into the playoffs because Vancouver has to play these meaningless games.
Stupid.
And it's going to be good rest for some players, but it could be really bad rest for others. And I feel like we've said that before, but I hope they're able to come back with the same momentum and the same ability, because, the biggest worry is that you go into this Montreal series and you kind of, if you go down 1-0, it's not as big of a scare, but it's still kind of like, okay, what are we doing, and why is this happening again? Why are we letting this team do get anything close to beating us? This should be an under 6 game series, okay? If anything in the regular season has proven anything, it's 6 games and under. It doesn't go to 7, and it's not close.
Canadiens, if it's the Canadiens, it could still be the Jets, but if it's the Canadiens, the Montreal Canadiens would have to win more games in the playoffs against the Toronto Maple Leafs than they did all season long against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they played us 9 times and got 3 wins out of it. They need to win 4 in 7. Maybe they do it, maybe not, but I'm I don't know, it's stupid. I don't understand why, as the NHL, they're even bothering playing those Calgary and Vancouver games. Just end it. Play it so the day that you're supposed to.
You have
I understand. Then play them out and don't even worry about where they finish. Just start the playoffs with them still playing season games. It doesn't matter. Who cares? No one's going to watch those games anyways. Just start the playoffs when you're supposed to start the playoffs, so that way there's no back-to-backs in the fucking playoffs again. It just doesn't make sense. I hate it. Hate it passionately. I don't like what they're doing. I don't think it's right.
Yeah, I don't think they really strategized for this to happen this late in the season. We said that too. Imagine a team. I think we're lucky that no team has actually gotten it closer.
Now, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, absolutely. So, it could definitely.
It seems
be an
like
issue that any team gets it from here on out.
But doesn't it seem like the way that they're kind of going about it and testing it and stuff it almost seems a little more relaxed, right?
Doesn't that kind of seem like that's how the Leafs are going to lose in the Stanley Cup Finals or something?
What? Because it's just that's
I feel like they're just going to go on this crazy run where they make it to the finals, and then they're just 8 of them are going to get COVID or something, and it's going.
But the NHL would then have to halt though. They would have to stop the Stanley Cup Final.
Would they?
You've stopped so you stopped other games in the season. You've postponed games this late, right? So you have to. This is where your bread and butter is. Yeah. You've signed up to do this.
I think they just don't even announce that people have it. I think it's fuck it, go out there and play.
Yeah, 7 games. They'll announce it in the third period. With
how bad are your symptoms? Not bad. Okay, get your ass out there. We're fine.
Exactly.
It's unless they're dying, they're going to be going out there with or without COVID. I think they got to pretend like nothing's wrong. One of the cooler stories came out of the NHL the last couple of days. I think it was 2 days ago now that Tim Stutzle put up his hat trick.
Yes, sir.
And so I guess I heard that Brady Tkachuk had something to do with it, but apparently there was a group of kids that came to the house that Stutzle, Tkachuk, and Josh Norris live in, and they had Stutzle come out to the backyard, and all the kids are throwing hats over the fence for his first career hat trick. It was really cool to see.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm I really don't like the Tkachuks, but I know that they're good people off the ice. I just can't stand what they do on the ice, and that's a great move from Brady. If in case what am I trying to say here? If in fact it was Brady Tkachuk that did it, that's really cool. And it was really
still
cool
just in general,
still a kid, realistically.
Right. He's so young. That's such a good. Even some people say third goal is an empty net, but you know what though? He got it, and a hat trick's a hat trick.
Yeah.
And good for him for being in position to score. Those goals they're good. They're NHL goals.
Hey, talk all you want about empty net goals. Matthews only has one of them in his career.
Right.
So, yeah. No, that was awesome. I love to see it, even if it's Ottawa. They got to celebrate something. They're out, and that was really cool to see from the Ottawa fans. It's cool for the Ottawa fans, at least. It's
absolutely
something to look forward to.
They're a really dedicated bunch, and I feel like that's when they got hit with that whole Karlsson and Hoffman, it was such a shock to them because they were such a dedicated fan base, and it was almost how could we have been so close? And it just felt right, as a Canadian team, it did kind of feel right that the way that they were trending and the way that they were building this team was you know what, they could actually see an NHL final.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of really all fell within 1 year. It was just complete disaster, and they're still standing by. They're believing in this rebuild.
They still think they have a chance. So that's
if you hear them talk about anybody, I listened to when Brady Tkachuk. I was talking about Matt Murray, and the way that he was describing Matt Murray was if he was the most elite goalie you'd ever seen. But that's the way they
good
talk.
dressing room, at least. I mean,
That's the way they talk
they're
about
going to
each
be
other,
good
right?
in the future.
Mhm.
I think Ottawa's going to be really
They're
competitive
so
in the
young.
next couple of years. Yeah, they're so young. They're built
Dude, they
well.
struck gold with Norris and Stutzle. Like, that's going to be great. If you
Unfortunately, their
can,
GM's an idiot.
a little bit.
So that might not help. They might lose a lot of these guys. But if they can manage to stay the way they are, they'll be competitive for a while.
What point is a GM going to really be there, though? You know, at some point, somebody's got to tell the GM,
You think? He's
here's
already
the
done it
door.
once.
I get that, but it's bad if you do it twice, you know?
So we kind of buried the lead. The second coolest milestone of the year happened this year. Sorry, Oilers fans. McDavid, incredible hockey player. He reached 100 points in, I think it's 53 games, right? Not 52. I wrote 53, but that's still mind-blowing because he was at 96 the game before, and I was driving home, and all of a sudden the headline pops up in my Sportsnet app and says, McDavid reaches 100. I'm like, McDavid does a what now? I'm like, they must be slapping Vancouver. It's 4-3. He put up a point in every single goal in that game. I'm like, are you nuts? Like, this man just, like, I thought it was a chance that he might not reach 100, like, a week and a half ago. Because he had, like, 16 points to get in, like, 13 games.
The teams that they were facing are just he is
did it
dominating everybody.
He did it effortlessly. It was a joke. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of points. Like, there's a chance he could go on a little run here and not be too great.
Dude, he scored the OT winner last night.
4 points. It's like, oh, never mind. Fuck me.
No, he is unbelievable. He wanted that number, and he's just going to prove that he can get to probably, like, fuck, if he scores, he might score 8 points tonight just to, or tomorrow night just to have a little
he's
laugh.
Hit 200 somehow.
Right.
In a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible to do that in a 56-game season. Argue all you want, Matthews, McDavid, like both of them. Incredible that Matthews scored 40 in 56. That's nuts. Even more incredible that McDavid put up 150 in 56 games. That's like he's on pace for like 150 or 160 something. Like, that's wild. I mean, he put up 100 points in like 60 something games last year, so it's not that surprising.
No.
But like, it's still incredible that
the way that he's done it too, though, man. The goals, the assists.
The amount.
I think
ridiculous amount of power points.
I think what's shocking. Oh, absolutely. But I think what's shocking is, I think 60% of his.
Yeah, he's got a power play.
Yeah.
Good amount of seconds.
Which is fine. Like, that's understandable. Yep. And that really just shows you why his plus minus is still whatever because of it, right?
Yeah. You can't take away from the fact that he did it just because a lot of it was on the power play.
But no, he's doing exactly what he should be doing, right?
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him at all.
He's like 30 points, 40 points, I think, ahead of the closest player not on Edmonton. So, I mean, you can't really take away from the fact that he's just dominating this year. If he never scored a goal, I think he's still leading the league in points, which is insane.
He dominates. Yep. Pretty much every year. He's going to continue to as well. I think that's what the scary part is like, can you imagine
when that team wins around?
Oh, absolutely. They need to prove something.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not going to with just him, because there's going to be more disciplined teams. They're going to be less
like garbage.
There's going to be, when you hit the playoffs, though, there are less penalties. There are less of the protect the stars, and we're going to be more of it's kind of a free-for-all in the playoffs, right? Which maybe will change if somebody sees Edmonton's poster boy being run a bit harder. But from what I've seen,
I think it's just a lot easier to shut down Connor McDavid in the playoffs. Like, you're going hard every single game, and you can lock down those two. And if you lock down those two guys, who the hell else are you worried about?
They don't have any way. Their defense is not able to stop the rush that the Leafs will have if they see them, or even Winnipeg. Like, this is the thing. Mm-hmm. If they see a Winnipeg, I'm not convinced that they're actually getting out of that, because they're going to show them a lot of grit. Even I guess the Montreal game last night was close. They went to overtime, but Montreal still has so many question marks.
They were in that game, and like, Montreal played like garbage.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's because Edmonton has nothing from behind center.
Like, it's fun to look at their point numbers right now. So McDavid's at 102, Draisaitl's at 81. The closest forward to those guys is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at 34 points. He missed 4 games, so that's fine. The next closest to that is Jesse Puljujarvi at 25.
It's been
like, that is a gap in your forwards. Like, if those two guys aren't in it, there's no goal being scored. Like you'll get the odd one every 5 games, and then Oilers fans will be like, "Look at our depth." It's like, yeah, your depth has nothing right now. So until you fix that problem, I'm not afraid of the Oilers ever.
No, you can't. There's only so long that you're going to be able to ride him through teams, right?
He can't do it all.
He's not going to carry you through to 4 rounds.
No. He's good enough to, like, if you have an average team around him, he will carry you to the playoffs, and that's good, and he'll carry you a round or two. But when your team is this bad around him, he can't carry you that much. Like, once he gets shut down, you're not scoring, and even if they do, your depth scores, they're getting 1 or 2 goals a game, and they're not doing anything with that. Like, you can't win a game. It's really hard to win a game 1-0.
They're not going to. There's no games,
especially
anymore.
with their goaltending. That's the thing, is you can win games 1-0 if you're like the Islanders.
Tell me, but good. Right, or if your defense is just so set in a system that it's second nature. Yeah, and Edmonton doesn't have that. That's what I'm saying. Their defense is way too offensive minded and way too small to cause any sort of fear in anybody.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You see them around the net. You see them when other team rushes. They fold completely in, and the goalie just doesn't do anything.
I'm not worried.
No.
Speaking of Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers, their former teammate, Taylor Hall. Wow. He's looking great in Boston. I don't know how. I don't understand. Like, I know he was playing in a real shit team out in Buffalo.
I just say that Taylor Hall was the worst thing for Buffalo because not only did they waste a contract on him, but trading him then gave Jack Eichel that, you know what? Yeah. Same ticket for me. Thank you.
I mean, he wanted out before that, though. Like,
but the comment, when you're a captain and you say wherever that may be.
Shit. They didn't want him to get surgery.
Exactly. But now he's like, you know what? You're trading away everybody that you kind of said, like, Taylor Hall was not supposed to be a 1-year deal. I'm sorry to say, like, Buffalo did not have Taylor Hall as a 1-year deal. They would have probably given him.
The plan was to re-sign him. But
if they had a really good year, and at least made the playoffs, they would have given him the money he wanted. But no, he's going to do ridiculously well in Boston. He could be the reason they come out of that.
I don't like their matchup with Washington. It's going to be a really tough series. And I don't like their depth outside of those, like, obviously the perfection line, and then Hall and Krejci have looked great.
I think Coyle still has some playoff magic, though. Like, McAvoy has stepped up as being
player for player. I think Washington.
I'm not saying player for player, but they did a really good job. They did a good job.
Same.
They did a good job though at the trade deadline, getting some more depth defensemen as they got healthy. And dude, they're the Boston Bruins. You know, I just feel like that can't go.
I don't have a lot of faith in them this year. We'll see. It's a tough matchup, man. Like, that Washington series is going to be tough. And then even if you
Washington hasn't looked unbeatable though, you know.
No, but even if you win that, you're getting one of Pittsburgh or the Islanders, and like they haven't played great against either of them either. It's tough. I honestly can't say with any sort of certainty who I believe is coming out of that thing, because like I could sit here and argue that Boston's not as good as Washington, but like they've beaten them and they've shown they can handle them, and then they could go out and they could beat up Pittsburgh and Islanders too. But like on the other side of things, like I don't have a clue who's going to win that Pittsburgh and Islanders series. Like they play each other so equally, it's the same. And then Washington's gross. You never really know who's coming out of that thing. Like that's the only division where I'm looking at it like you don't have a clue.
But like, I don't know, man. Their goalies haven't been unbelievable.
Who's this?
Washington. Like, Washington is just, they have some, for sure, some depth. What?
Lankinen's been really good, is he not?
Vanacek?
Vanacek,
yeah.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. Attaboy. Way to get there. Vanacek, yeah. No, they've had, like, but they're, like, saving, like, 907, 906. Like, it's not unbelievable numbers.
No.
You know, so I'm just saying, like, they are beatable, and Boston has just always been that team that when you count them out and you say they shouldn't go, then they do. You know? I think that they found
line comes from, because no, they haven't. They've won one cup in the last like 30 years.
Okay, they've been in a lot more cups.
That's it. They haven't been that they counted them out against St. Louis and they lost. You counted them out every year before that and they lost. They beat.
Of course, they're going to lose to St. Louis. St. Louis was a freight train rolling.
Like they're not. There's
no way Boston.
I don't know where this. Oh, Boston's such a playoff juggernaut came from. Like Chicago was a playoff juggernaut. L.A. playoff juggernaut. St. Louis was there a lot and won a lot. They were a playoff juggernaut. Boston, just like they're not. They're not that. St. Louis went to like 11 straight playoffs and never did anything in it until they won the cup. But
I just think they've got.
I don't know, man. Especially this season, this year's Boston Bruins don't look as poised to do anything this year. Just because of the teams they have to go up against are also really good, and it's going to be a dogfight. And I don't even see them beating Washington, honestly.
We'll see.
Yeah. What else we got? Phil the Thrill got undressed by Erik Karlsson. That was hilarious. And then he still netted his 900 point. He burned Erik Karlsson too, so it was like a good payback thing.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Do you think I heard the best point? And like Phil Kessel is going in the Hall of Fame, so let's eat that. He's gonna get to 1,000.
Yeah.
He's gonna get to 1,000 points. He's got what, 2 cups?
Yeah.
Okay. As an American scorer, oh, absolutely. You bet.
Has Phil Kessel put up Hall of Fame numbers?
Phil Kessel will put up Hall of Fame numbers. Absolutely. I think you need to prep yourself.
Terrible. Like I don't even know if he can reach 1,000.
He needs fucking 100 points.
Yeah. How many did he put up this year?
That's it. I don't know.
Like
30,
not even.
Who cares? You think he's going to spend the rest of his days in Arizona? Not a chance.
I don't think he's going to go anywhere where he's going to be. He hasn't been good, man. Like I don't.
I'm telling you. Or he stays in Arizona, and Arizona somehow, turns it around. He had 43 points in 56 games. Led the team.
I don't know, man. 1,000 points isn't that many.
Dude, he's 33.
How many games has he played?
He played 56.
No.
Healthy.
Like in his career.
I'm saying, but he played 56 all year.
No, I get he has played. That's what I mean. Is he plays a lot of games. So like 1,000 points in the amount of games he plays is not like, wow. I guess Paul Correa is kind of like the standard of not a lot of points, but he's still in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He's got 989 and 900.
Phil Kessel's going to the Hall of Fame. You can argue it all you want.
Per game guy.
You can argue it all you want.
I'm asking you a question. Is Phil Kessel?
I have no idea.
Do you have it in front of you?
I do not have it in front of me. I have Phil Kessel just going to the Hall of Fame from me knowing that Phil Kessel will go to the Hall of Fame.
I don't,
because he will have enough of the boxes.
He's never been a top 20 player in his own era.
What do you mean?
When has he ever been a top? Let's go top 15.
Okay, no, maybe not a top 15, but it doesn't matter though. When you look back on it, he's going to check the necessary boxes to get himself in there. I'm telling you.
If Phil Kessel gets into the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame's a joke.
The Hall of Fame, of course.
Like, it's not the Hall of pretty good. It's the Hall of Fame.
Dude, it's the Hall of Phil Kessel's
done a whole lot of nothing.
Phil Kessel
he was a third liner on both teams that won the cup.
Dude, in Pittsburgh, he had a 92-point season.
That was it.
And an 82-point season, and then a 70-point season.
Okay.
He's unbelievable. He's going to get to 1,000 points.
That's all he's ever done. He had 3 good years where he was at that level.
And he won cups.
Lots of guys have won cups.
Dude, he's got a medal. He's got silver medal. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I don't know.
He's going in. I'm telling you.
I don't see it.
Okay.
In the slightest.
You cannot see it then. And then you'll be blindsided as soon as he does. It's okay. I understand.
There's so many. Is Sergei Fedorov a Hall of Famer? I don't think Sergei Fedorov has made it in yet.
You're really testing my knowledge now.
I'm looking at
I'm still trying to look up Phil Kessel.
I'm pretty sure he's one of the snubs. Like, there is a lot of guys that are a hell of a lot better than Phil Kessel and were a lot better in their own era than Phil Kessel, and they are not in the Hall of Fame. I don't know how, like, even the American thing, he's not even the best American of his era.
No, of course he's not, but he's still one of.
But he's not, like,
just because he's not the best.
If you were never at any point in time a top 15 player in the league throughout your entire career, I don't know where the argument is that you could be a Hall of Famer.
Dude, this is a league where there are tons of superstars, and anybody could sit there and argue. I bet you, if you ask some NHL players,
not Hall of Famers.
If you ask NHL players, though, that you would get a surprising amount of people who would say Phil Kessel is one of the best hockey players in the NHL, talent-wise. I can guarantee that you would be shocked at the amount that would put him up there.
I haven't heard that that
you can not hear that all you want
about,
then.
About Phil too much. But I don't know, man.
He won a Bill Masterson Trophy for perseverance and sportsmanship, dude.
Okay.
He fought off cancer and now is having 1,000.
Hey, you know who got nominated for the Masterton out of the Leafs?
Hmm.
Jack Campbell, the nicest human
being
for him.
Of all time. Okay, speaking of Jack Campbell, his leash is going to be so much more longer.
Depends
because Freddie Anderson did not come back and play.
The hook onto the guy is going to depend on how Frederik Andersen does tomorrow.
I just think that his leash is all of a sudden like instead of just like one game, it's really going to be like 2-3 games, which is wicked because it's like and it could be 2 in a row, and you're still kind of like okay.
If Freddie comes in tomorrow and shuts out the Senators,
I don't even. It's the Senators. It's the Ottawa Senators.
Sure, but if he does it, you're kind of like, well, he looks back, he looks okay. Say he makes 30 saves, shuts out the Senators, you're like, he can do it, and then Jack comes out there, throws a stinker in game 1. You're kind of like, we have Freddie. Like it's Jack Campbell game 1, and I don't know who's saying this conversation is being had. I've never seen anyone say the other side of this. Like all over Twitter, people are like, I don't know why this is a conversation. I don't think it is a conversation. I don't see anyone having the other side of the conversation.
Not especially because his first game's tomorrow. No. I think a lot of people have this conversation.
For game 1, I have not seen anyone have this conversation. Now, with Freddie as the backup, I can definitely have the conversation that if Jack falters, you have Frederik Andersen to put in there. But in game 1, I don't think anybody in their right mind is having this conversation. And if you are the one saying that, I would like you to show me an example. Because I haven't seen anyone say Freddie should be the guy game 1.
I mean, I just hope that Freddie's 100% healthy and not just trying to get in hopes that he doesn't lose his spot. You know, like this is a team now where it's not even risking losing the starting job, it's risking losing the backup job because they traded to get No Save Dave and bring him in, and they are going to die by that sword because they gave up a pretty lofty pick
second rounder,
but for No Save Dave. For No Save Dave, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is what you gave up for him. When you could have had Michael Hutchinson, which I get it.
A lot of people like No Save Dave. I like No Save Dave, the person.
But that's the thing, is that now, if you look at it and Freddie goes in and says, look, I'm about 85%. This is what I'm going to give you. Then the Leafs might look and go, well, David Rittich has that ability to have some games.
I think David Rittich is just locked into the third string right now. Like
they trust
Freddie a hell of a lot more than
not if he's not healthy, though. He's shown that until he's 100%.
And now he's
until he's 100% healthy, right? But if he tries to push it, they might just tell him no.
I don't think they care. If they lose in round 2, he only has maybe 2 games left in his entire Leaf career. So they're gonna push him until he can't do it. Plain and simple. Like if they need a guy, it's Freddie long before it's David.
You think they're losing game 2?
No.
Or round 2?
No. Personally, I don't. But
game 2?
I know people. I know I'll get my head ripped off if I'm out here saying the Leafs are about to sweep round 1 and 2 and just walk into round 3. Even though there's a strong chance it could happen. I don't want to get that attitude too. I saw Craig Buttons today talking about how like the Leafs are going to destroy the Canadians. It's like, buddy, thank you for setting us up for a 4-game sweep against. Because like I know that's what he's trying to do too. He's trying to be that guy because he said Montreal was going to win the division. He said a lot of really stupid shit along the way. So now he's just like, oh no, they're going to crunch the Canadians just to give them some fuel to the fire and try and take down the Leafs. And then it sucks. Stupid. I think that's it out of the NHL. Did you have anything else?
I didn't really have anything. No. That was good. There's a lot of milestones reached.
Yeah, big milestone week for the NHL.
Yeah.
There's probably more, but they're just not from important people.
I mean, not that we could find.
No.
We only research so much, people.
Yep. Nate Pearson made his first appearance of the season, and it was not pretty.
Yikes.
He didn't look all that comfortable. I think that's an understatement. He couldn't really throw a strike. It was not pretty. The final line score wasn't too bad. Like he only gave up, was it 3 runs? I think through 3 innings. Actually, I don't even think it was that many. He didn't give up much, but he walked everybody in their entire family.
It wasn't anything convincing. You know, no. It looked like a charity event out there. There were so many people walking. It was bad.
Terry Fox walk. Because it wasn't great. I don't think obviously that's not what Nate Pearson is. He's never been that in the minors. So I think a lot of it is nerves, and apparently he's been working his mechanics a little differently. So that might have a lot to play into it. I didn't necessarily agree with them sending him down today. I think you maybe give him another look and you let him work with one of the best pitching coaches in the game in Pete Walker and see if they can figure out what's wrong and why he can't hit the strike zone. But it was their decision. They made it. They sent him down. They sent up a guy that I don't even know the name of. It's an interesting choice. I'm not a huge fan of yo-yoing some of your top prospects because I don't think that's very good for your confidence. As much as like walking a bunch of guys isn't great for you, going up and down like that where the team has no faith in you is very not good. Like we've seen that so much in the past with guys like Travis Snyder was one. He was up and down, just couldn't figure out his confidence. Trying to think of other big examples that come to mind, but like you see it all the time with guys that just like Victor Robles seems like one of those type of guys in Washington right now.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help to be going up and down so much. So I think if you're going to send him down, leave him for a while until he's like 15 strikeouts a night in AAA because he's just better than everybody there and he can hit the strike zone consistently. And then bring him up and let him stay here. Don't dick around and be like, oh, well, he didn't get it done today. We'll send him back down. I don't really like it.
Yeah, it is kind of early. I think it's also just they don't really have a consistent pitching staff, and
it's ugly.
Maybe
that's why I think he should have stayed too, though.
But maybe it's more than what they're leading on. You know, like maybe
he's not.
They kind of just they sent him down, and they could have been a little quieter for more of a reason, right? Maybe more of a rehab. Maybe he actually strained it more than he thought. Yeah, they like to keep it hush hush, and it was kind of frustrating to see them, man. Like especially somebody who. I know that it's tough. This league is going to be really tough for this kid because people are seeing fastball. They sit fastball and they wait for it.
His
and like
stuff around his fastball is usually so gross, but when you can't command your fastball, it's an issue.
And that's the thing is that he sets everything else up off of that fastball, and then it just
couldn't hit it.
If you're not scaring people with it, then everyone's just going to sit there and exactly what they did, right? Put the bats on your shoulders and let's walk around, and he's going to put us in positions to score, and that's it.
Yeah. Now. In that game, you saw exactly why Danny Jansen is still a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. Because like as good as Reese, like Reese wasn't the reason that Nate was bad, but Reese did absolutely nothing to help Nate Pearson. Like he didn't go out to talk to him, didn't calm him down, didn't like call the game differently. Just kept going, kept trying to get him to work it out on his own, and it was just not pretty. Danny Jansen is a hell of a lot better than that. He's a hell of a lot better of a defensive catcher than Reese McGuire is. He's definitely a better defensive catcher than Alejandro Kirk was. So you kind of see in that situation, as bad as Jano has been with the bat, not lately, he's on fire, but as bad as he's been all season, if you watch that game, you understand why Danny Jansen is still on this team.
I think for me, yeah, and that's also why I felt there was a pressing need for another defensive catcher, and like Alejandro Kirk could even go over to more of a DH position because for me, like the experiment with Rowdy is a little done. He's gonna be one of those.
He's so streaky.
I know, and that's the thing is that until he figures it out consistently, I think you can put him down there and just keep him down there, especially if you're going to have somebody like Kirk and Jano try to figure out their own hitting thing. You don't need multiple of those. And then bring in a solid defensive catcher who, like you said, like if Nate Pearson comes up and he's struggling, you need somebody to go out there and say, look, like let's talk this through, right? And
Reese
that's
is not that guy.
No, Reese is not going to be that guy. And that's where the Jays, they've kind of already mentioned it. So why not just make a move where it's not going to cost you so much too, right? It's not going to bring you out a top 10 prospect out of this organization.
Of teams are looking to give up a guy like that, though.
They're not looking to give it up.
Defensive catcher, it's really hard to pry it out of somebody's hands.
You think so? I don't know. Like
it's really hard. There's not many. Like there's only a few guys that are like in the upper echelon of defense or just above average defensively that like you're not looking to give up really good defensive catchers.
There are some catchers though that I guess are just on some terrible teams then that I just think even still like would be somewhat serviceable. And the Jays have an advantage for not like, you know, they're playing in Buffalo, which is nice. They're also playing at a lot of hitter friendly ballparks, right? Even still, right? You go to the Yankees, you go to Fenway, right?
Yep.
You go they're hitter friendly. Tampa Bay. Yeah, it's exactly. So bringing somebody over who maybe struggles in a different division could eventually help them figure it out.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I just think having that knowledge behind the plate is going to help them.
I think obviously you could use a defensive catcher. I think Danny Jansen currently is your good defensive catcher. But
if he figures out his hitting, then he's going to be your everyday catcher. And if this is something that he's starting to just go with, and he's kind of just swinging the bat, like that's what I've also realized with him. He's now just swinging it though. He's not even like pumping it.
He's crunching balls though.
He's got those gloves
real hard the last.
Do you see it's the gloves? 2 weeks. Can I say it's the gloves?
You can say it's the gloves if you want.
The +10 gloves, he's got it. He's something in there. Can somebody like check?
He's been hitting line shots his last like 2-3 weeks, and it's just like he hasn't had any luck until those 3 home runs. And like I think the ultimate show of luck was when he hit a home run in Houston where it wouldn't leave the park anywhere else.
No.
So like I think that's his luck's starting to come around a little bit more. I think
but that's also being a good baseball player.
Is helping
that's being a good baseball player and realizing that
just hit it up.
That is a flaw in there. Yeah. That is a flaw in their ballpark, so you're going to hit it there. Why do you think all these Houston guys have such inflated stats? Because of that.
I think Bregman hits so many home runs because he just has to hit it out a little bit.
I don't know. I think every game I watch of Houston, Yuli hits one right there.
Yeah,
like
Yuli's really good at it.
Yeah, he loves it over there.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the Blue Jays. Not a whole lot of news. Skinny Jeans is up there now. Game starts in 3 minutes. I love Robbie Ray this season, man. I'm just all aboard the Robbie Ray train.
He's been doing well.
So great.
He's been the consistency that I hoped for when I took him on my team.
Yeah. I can't wait for him to get lit up for 12 runs tonight or something just because we're talking about him.
Yeah. We kind of like the way Steven Matz did.
Yeah.
Matz
everyone we've hyped up so far. This Semyon went on a shit run after we talked about him. Actually, Cavan got better after I talked about him, so you're welcome. Yeah. So
because that's you. That's not him figuring it out.
No, it's 100% me. Has nothing to do with Cav.
Didn't he hit a big?
It's not the fact that Cavan's an incredible ball player and just was unlucky for 3 weeks. Like,
right.
Nothing to do with that. It's just me. On to the West Coast. The Los Angeles Dodgers suck.
Oh, do they ever?
They suck so bad that Trevor Bauer is coming out and talking about how pissed off he is that they're not winning. That's ugly for starters. That shouldn't be happening, and I don't really like that out of Trevor Bauer, but that's ugly.
He's
I don't
always
hate
been
it.
An emotional guy, though, right? Like that's Trevor Bauer for you.
I don't mind the Los Angeles Dodgers being bad. I think it's time. It's time to get them to a spot where they're no longer the odds-on favorite every single year. I'm so bored of it.
They ran out of luck with some of their bottom-end guys in the batting order, and Cody Bellinger is hurt and not finding it, and they're not able to do the same thing that they were doing before, man. Like they had a point where it was like everybody was going to hit, and they were like, who did you want to face? Absolutely nobody.
Nobody. Their lineup is unbelievable.
Now though, it's
Nothing's
just like
right, though.
No, and
it's
their
great.
Pitching should be unreal. They have 3 potential, like they have 3 all-star pitchers in their rotation. And they're doing nothing.
Does anybody feel bad for the Los Angeles Dodgers?
No.
I don't.
Absolutely not.
There's zero reason to feel bad for this team. I hope they don't even make the playoffs. That would be great. Their time has come and gone.
They're going to make the playoffs.
Apparently the Giants would like to say otherwise, but I don't think that holds up over.
That's actually what I was looking at, and I'm not. No.
If you're looking at those standings right now, you have San Francisco, San Diego, LA, Arizona, Colorado.
You know what's funny?
I highly doubt those hold up.
You look at a lot of their like top guys. You know, Brandon Belt is like a career 230 hitter, like maybe, right? Brandon Crawford also not a very good hitter, and yet somehow they keep going and they just keep going and winning games.
If they can hold up all year, that's a crazy story to watch.
And being the best California team because that's what they do.
I guess. I mean, who's going to argue against it?
It was actually Buster Posey all along. Everyone said it was Madison Bumgarner. No, it was Buster Posey, okay? Don't get at me. Don't do anything about it. It was Buster Posey, all right?
Staying in California, I forgot to write this down. The Oakland A's are moving.
Do you think so?
Yeah, they came out today and said the league told them that they could either if their bid for a new stadium doesn't go through, then they're going to have to look for other homes. So they've just accepted that bid's not going to go through. So they're already searching for a new home. Okay.
Where do you think they go?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think you need them in Oakland. There's so many teams in California that there's no need for another California baseball team. I don't think baseball is very big in California.
Poor Oakland franchise, though, that just lost their football team and is now going to lose their baseball team. If you're an Oakland fanatic
because they
through and
don't
through,
pay. Nobody goes to
no,
games is the problem. There's no reason to have
I
them there
get
because
that.
nobody goes to games.
They
The
sport
Raiders,
the
I didn't
hats.
get. The Raiders, they pack the stadium every day. I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
One. But when you talk about the A's, there's no reason for them to be in Oakland because nobody goes to watch them. Send them to somewhere. I think like Central USA, or maybe like Northwest, like somewhere in that area. They're a little lacking in teams. I think they could use a little bit more baseball.
Dude, bring them to Vancouver. Fuck it. Let's
That's
go.
another
North
one,
of the
man.
border.
You've seen the Vancouver fans show up for the Blue Jays when they go to Seattle. I don't think you could tell me that they wouldn't start packing stadiums to go see a new baseball team.
They would do, I think, okay because of the amount of tourism that's there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you would be able to bring in enough of an interest there. But you'd also, I don't know. I think it isn't as much of. I think the fact that the Jays go there is more of the, like it's unique, right? They're able to just go down there and it's an event instead of like an everyday thing, right?
Now, I can tell you with 100% certainty that it's not going to happen, right? Because there's no way in hell Rob Manfred's going to try and put a team in Canada where the Canadian dollar's less and all that nonsense.
Oh, not right
the
now.
TV deals are different, and it just doesn't make him money. And he doesn't actually care about the fans. He cares about all the money that's going in his pocket, and there's zero reason to bring a team to Vancouver, which sucks because I think it would be cool to have another Canadian team. Like, as much as it's great having the only team in Canada here so we can go watch them, I feel really bad for the people on the West Coast or in like I don't feel bad for the Central, and then like the East Coast. Like, I feel bad for those guys. They have nothing. Like, you can't go see anyone. It kind of sucks. It would be cool to have another team here. I'm
trying to think of what other get another New York team. Buffalo will just get a team. That's it.
Tampa was talking about coming back to or splitting with Montreal, so maybe they look towards Montreal. But again, that kind of sucks because now we're close by in both teams, and the West Coast still gets nothing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think somewhere central in the United States or maybe somewhere northeast or northwest. I don't really know what's out there.
Trying to look. I don't really have anything.
Maybe another New York team.
That's what I was trying to
Chicago team.
But that's why I said Buffalo, right? Like Buffalo would get
I think Buffalo would love having a team again.
Yeah. But then what would you do with the AAA team? That's the thing.
Put them in a different spot. Bring them up to Toronto. Like, that kind of sucks.
You could. Like Hamilton.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, Hamilton's big enough. That's where the Toronto Rock actually just moved to.
I think it'd be neat.
I think they're the Hamilton Rock now.
Are they?
I don't know. Yeah, I know they just moved from Toronto to Hamilton. But I don't know if they're renaming or something.
I think it would be cool. I think it'd be cool to do that. I think Buffalo deserves a baseball team. They loved having the Blue Jays around. Just
Columbus?
Having them around.
Would Columbus? You
don't need another Ohio team. You got Cincinnati, Cleveland,
Louisville. Let's just go right in Louisville.
Why not?
Louisville Athletics.
Kentucky doesn't have anywhere, right? Why not?
No. Nashville.
Alabama. Is there anywhere in Alabama that doesn't?
Alabama. See, Atlanta has a team. No, not really. Like Birmingham, but no, like the Chattanooga Athletics.
Wisconsin.
You could do Wisconsin. I think it'd be cold.
It would be cold. It wouldn't be very fun.
Yeah. Madison, even. Yeah.
Yeah.
Minneapolis. See, Minnesota has a team.
Bottom line here is the
Minneapolis
Oakland A's are moving, and we get to just talk about where for the next however long.
Exactly. Yeah. I wonder where it's going to be. That's incredible, though, that they.
Yeah.
Could Portland support?
It's more north than Toronto. So, like.
I don't know.
They get snow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it'd be a shorter move.
Yeah. You'd have to have an indoor stadium for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, staying in California, there were two teams today that have an issue with COVID again. San Diego being one of them, including noted superstar Fernando Tatis Jr. That man can't catch a break. Not only is he injured all the time, finally he's healthy, and he gets COVID. You hate to see it. Like, how many walls does this guy got to go through?
I wonder how far this is going to go to. Like, it's 3 players right now, but
yeah,
this could be a big hit for this team. Yeah,
I only know Profar and but they're still playing today. So I don't, as far as right now at 7:25, they're still playing. So the other team on that list was the New York Yankees. Now the Yankees are fully vaccinated for 95% of their staff and teams, from what I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a coach that got tested positive with COVID, and there's 4 other coaches that are now in the protocols because they were in close contact.
Right, but no players.
No players have confirmed cases or confirmed to be in close contact with them yet. So that's something to look at for the rest of the night. The game was up in the air. I don't know if they're playing it or not. Haven't got any updates. So that's not good news from either side of these things for San Diego and New York, because you do not want to see this happen again where you lose a couple weeks out of the season.
It just always creeps its way in.
And there's nowhere to make up these games.
No, they have not left. Like, they did not do a scheduling job, a good scheduling job at all. Like,
they're just going like nothing happened. And like, if you lose a week of games, you're fucked. You're not fitting 7 games in the rest of the year. There's no 7 days off.
Do you not think that there would be more of a, like, if you said, hey, we're going to make you forfeit these games that you miss now, like if you have a certain percentage of players who can't play, absolutely. Like, do you not think these players would take it a lot more seriously in case they were to risk the fact that, like, we're not going to reschedule, we're going to forfeit the game for you. Like, that's it.
If you can't field a team, you can't play.
Right. I think that's how it should be. And then these players, you won't be having all these teams. And I get it.
I understand there's a lot of accidents. Like,
right. I'm not saying, but it's still, there's a big precedent and there's a big responsibility on you as an organization to keep everybody safe. And if that means holding them up in a little village of their own, then you need to hold them up in a little village of their own.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a fair.
You were being
fair
paid
rule to have.
Millions, man, like millions to entertain and to be out in the field, right? Mm-hmm. And I get it. It's because there are millions and millions put into sports, but that just means that you need to be sure that you are as healthy as possible and can be there to do your job.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And it's frustrating to see.
Yeah. Hopefully, at least with the Yankees, hopefully things can dissipate there and you don't have to worry about it. And then San Diego, hopefully that doesn't spread any further than it already has. You hate to see that this year. It's gonna be a nightmare. Final thing is yours. I didn't even hear about this.
Dude, I thought that was the funniest thing. Yeah, Noah Syndergaard just came out and said, baseball is soft.
Okay.
He wants more shit talking in it. And I just kind of wanted to.
That's great that he says that. But
I don't think you agree with it.
Coming from Noah Syndergaard. I agree with him, but that is bullshit coming from Noah Syndergaard. Because Noah Syndergaard chirped at Trevor Bauer in the offseason and then acted like a complete baby when Bauer went at him.
I mean, he was saying
he can't take it. Like, it's great that you think that's a thing, but he can't take it. Like, that's garbage. Like, I agree.
Now he's changing his view. Hey, he is allowed as a person to change his perspective.
Sure.
Maybe he has been shown something.
For sure he is. But if you want to dish it, you better learn to take it. And if that's going to be a thing in your league, then you can't be a giant baby.
He said it would draw more attention, which I completely
absolutely
agree.
would. Absolutely. He's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not disagreeing with Noah Syndergaard. I think he's 100% right. I don't think Amir Garrett should be getting tossed for 7 games for what he did in that thing. I don't think Nick Castellanos should be suspended at all for what he did flexing on a dude. That stuff should be a part of baseball. But if you're Noah Syndergaard, don't act like a child in the offseason because a guy didn't want to sign with your team. Chirp him and get all mad about him chirping back, and then tell me that there should be more chirping in your game. That's embarrassing.
Rob Manfred should just add the rule where if 2 guys want to fight, they can just step off to the side and that's it. They just engage in a fight. Yeah, like a hockey fight. And, you get 5 minutes off and that's it. You're just like in a weird little box and, then you can come back afterwards.
I'm here for it. Why not?
Right. Like but baseball.
I don't even mind guys getting ejected. Like I understand why you get ejected for fighting, but suspensions are just ridiculous.
But it's not even like a lot of the time. It's not even really fighting.
No, it's just like a yelling match that's really close to each other.
I'm never sure why the bullpen makes the run. If I was in the bullpen, I would stay exactly where I am. I'm sorry to say. Yeah.
If it turns into like a Canada-Mexico brawl, then hightail it down the field.
Oh, but then I'm finding somebody. I'm cheap shotting somebody from behind. Then.
If I'm getting down there, I'm hitting someone. And that's the only situation that makes sense is if it's a legitimate fight where there's punches being thrown and it's a big brawl, then for sure, bullpens get running. But when it's like Amir Garrett yelling at Baez and Baez yelling back, I'm not like, hell yeah!
No. Like, I loved when it was Bauer Tatis, like, and they're just chirping at each other. And, and then it goes online. Yeah. That's cool.
That's fine. You don't need a bullpen to clear for that.
No, you don't need these guys running in. And
that's
the thing is, you don't want any of the pitchers hurt. You don't want any of the players. Like,
no.
There's just no point to anybody really going out there. Let the players go out. Maybe let the managers go out.
Baseball's unique for fights too, though, because like
every once in a while it'll just pop off.
Even if you think of like fights in other sports, it's not like, so say someone throws a cheap shot in hockey and they get into a fight. It's not like the whole bench jumps over the boards and it's just this big brawl on the ice. Like, it's two guys that go at it and they're done. Football, kind of the same thing. Like, it's like the guys on the field usually, and like there's a few fights here and there, but it's not like this 60-man roster comes off the bench and there's a big like hoo-ha. Like, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Basketball is kind of similar to football in the sense like the guys don't really come off the bench to get into fights.
No, they can't.
No. So then you look at baseball and it's like every single baseball issue ever, the entire bench, including the coaches, are out there ready to go. And it's like, it's really fun to watch.
Which creates more tension because I don't know, like for me, if three people are holding me back, yeah, I'm more stressed at these three people holding me back. I'm
ready to hit these guys.
Anything going on.
We're fighting my own team now. Yeah.
So don't pull me. Don't touch me. I understand that I'm not going to do anything. I see that there's a mountain of dudes in front of me. I don't think it's worth it.
That happened was it last year or earlier this year with Bryce Harper. He struck out on he struck out on like a checked, whatever it was. But like earlier in the game, Kingery and him had an issue because Kingery was going back and Bryce didn't call him off a ball and Kingery dropped it or something like that. Didn't make the play, whatever it was. And then later, Kingery's trying to hold back Bryce from going to talk to the ump. And Bryce looks at him. He's like, "What the fuck you doing?" And just like pushes him out of the way. It's like you see issues like that when it's just like guys are just trying to diffuse the situation by just like getting in the face of an angry dude. It's wild. Baseball's so wild for that. Just like full bench brawls every time you have a fight.
Baseball fights though, like I'd say at least
there's 90, been like 4 that are any
94% of them are not that great. You know, like even Bryce Harper when he tried to throw, he threw his helmet way to right.
Hunter Strickland.
He threw the ball with the same way. Threw the ball the same way he hits it, pretty much. Like
it was bad. It was rough.
Yeah, and just
he actually talks about that on Starting 9, the podcast with Jared Carabas and Dallas Braden. And he was actually talking about that story. He's just like, I wasn't really sure, and then I threw it, and I hit fucking, I forget who it was in second. He's like, oh, Joe Panic. Joe Panic's out there and catches the helmet. And he's just like, it's like I felt kind of bad, but I just in the moment, I didn't really think anything of it. It's just funny, but
yeah, I just think like almost all of the baseball fights have not been legitimate fights, which is okay. You can
pinpoint like 4, like the Joe Kelly one with whoever it was in the Red Sox. He clocked him. I remember that one.
Odor.
Amir Garrett. Yeah, that one too. Amir Garrett just jumping the entire Pirates bench.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. Like he was going swinging. I want to say.
I like the one where he kicks the catcher. He just like boots him back. I can't remember who that is, but he
the first movie he made was that the catcher. Yeah, that one.
It's smart. Take out the man behind you and then go for the guy.
The one where Don Zimmer got tossed by Pedro Martinez is one that was pretty ruthless. There was one with Johnny Cueto involved when he was on the Reds.
Right.
There was the Reds and Cardinals because Yachty was involved. It was the stupidest thing ever because Brandon Phillips just like tapped his shin pads like he does to every catcher and kicked his bat and started this big brawl. And Cueto's against the fence just kicking guys. Like it's not like you remember those ones, but there's so many that were like even the Aaron Sanchez one where like they were hitting batters and all of a sudden like they didn't toss him. They didn't toss the other team, but they tossed
Machado him. When he ran out Ventura.
Machado's was bad.
Yeah, he puts them. They just
Yordano Ventura every time he ever got into a
right. He just turtled.
No.
Yeah.
What the hell was it?
No. Yeah, pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah. Well, Ventura every time he got in a fight, like with Machado and Trout and just about everyone, those ones are always really good. But then you get the ones like it's just like whatever. You're just yelling and screaming, and it's just boring. I want more punches thrown. I want Canada Mexico every single time. But I don't want to hear Noah Syndergaard talking about it. That's not the guy that should be running this.
Who should be running it then?
Trevor Bauer. It absolutely should be Trevor Bauer, Fernando Tatis, Ronald Acuna. Who else is a cool pitcher?
Who does Ronald Acuna have beef with though? Like real beef with?
Didn't Ronald Acuna start like some freaking? He started one of these benches clearing incidents, did he not?
That's what I mean though. Like real beef. Josh Donaldson should be leading something. A lot of
people don't like Ronald Acuna in the like.
I understand
not as a
that.
person, but when he plays.
Because he's young. Oh, good. Robbie Ray's already doing good things.
Oh no, he's got a huge issue with what's his name from the Marlins. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but he
the Marlins.
The guy that hit him because he was setting the record for most games with a leadoff home or something like that. It was like 6 in a row or something stupid. And then the guy got angry because he was hitting all these homers, so he hit him in the arm and broke his arm.
Oh, good.
I forget his name. And then they got into a brawl like every single game they played them after that. So like there's legitimate pizza. I can't remember. Oh, Jose Urena.
Yeah. He's got he's got a gas for a fastball.
Yeah. Guy throws like 99 and he's throwing at Acuna. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good. No more now.
I think that's it from us this week. I'm gonna go watch Robbie Ray.
He's already put 2 guys on base, so that's good.
I'm assuming he didn't walk them. He's only at 9 pitches. Maybe he walked one.
He walked one and he K'd one. One hit, 1 ball, 1 K.
Damn. So Robbie Ray has officially broken his walkless streak. So that sucks.
Yep, that's good.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. As always, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the BnB Pod _ and on TikTok at the BnB Podcast. You can check out our merch and any other content we have all at theasports.com. Don't forget to click like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff below. Tell all your friends because it's fun when we have more people listen to us. We'll catch you at the end of this week. Cheers.